Hi guys, welcome to lesson 5.5, standard form. Our objective for today is that I can graph linear equations using intercepts and that I can write linear equations in standard form. Now what is standard form, you might ask? Well, it is ax plus by is equal to c, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a and b are not both 0. Okay? Our essential understanding, one form of linear equations is called standard form, allows you to find intercepts quickly so that you can use those intercepts to draw the graph. So problem number 1 is going to be finding x and y intercepts. So we're going to start off with the x-intercept. This is where we are crossing the x-axis. So that means we are going to plug in 0 for y. All right, so that when we cross the x-axis, we are 0 above or below the y-axis. So 5x minus 6 times 0 is equal to 60. 5x is equal to 60 when we simplify that. Divide both sides by 5, and x is equal to 12. Our y-intercept, so that's our x-intercept, 12, 0. Our y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x instead, and we're going to solve for y. So we have negative 6y is equal to 60. And we're going to divide both sides by negative 6, and y is equal to negative 10. So our ordered pair is going to be 0, negative 10. So those are your x and y intercepts. Okay, just those two coordinates. Letter B, same thing. We're going to just plug in 0 for y to find our x-intercept. So we have 3x plus 8 times 0 is equal to 12. 3x is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 3, and x is equal to 4. So our x-intercept is at 4, 0. Our y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x. So we have 3 times 0 plus 8y is equal to 12. So 8y is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 8. And y is going to be equal to 3/2, or 1.5. So we have 0, 1.5 as our point. All right. So if we take a look, I want you guys to try letters A and B, and then we will go over them. So letter A, we solve for our x-intercept by plugging in 0 for y. So we have 2x plus 6 times 0 is equal to 18. So 2x is equal to 18. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 9. So our coordinates are 9, 0. Our y-intercept, plug in 0 for x. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 6y is equal to 18. So we have 6y is equal to 18. Divide both sides by 6, and y is equal to 3. So your coordinate is 0, 3. All right, switching up, letter B, we're going to use our x-intercept. So we plug in 0 for y. 6x minus 3 times 0 is equal to 36. So we have 6x equals 36. Divide both sides by 6. And x equals 6. So our coordinate is at 6, 0. Our y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x. So we have 6 times 0 minus 3y equals 36. So negative 3y is equal to 36. Divide both sides by negative 3. And y is equal to negative 12. So the ordered pair is 0, negative 12. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Graphing a line using intercepts. So to do this, we are going to solve each of our equations for the two intercepts, and we're going to graph using them. So we are going to plug in 0 for y and find our x-intercept first. So we have 2x plus 5 times 0 is equal to 20. So 2x equals 20. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 10. So we have a point at 10, comma 0. So we can go ahead and graph that point right away, bottom right hand, or the right-hand side of the page. Next up, we're going to plug in 0 for x in order to find the y-intercept. So we have 2 times 0 plus 5y is equal to 20. So 5y is equal to 20. Divide both sides by 5, and y equals 4. So your ordered pair is at 0, comma 4. So we graph our point at 0, 4, and now we use our ruler to connect our two dots. Remember, your line should extend all the way across your grid. All right, letter B. We've got 4x minus 3y is equal to 12. So we have 4x minus 3 times 0 equals 12. 4x is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 4. And x is equal to 3. So our coordinate is at 3, comma 0. So we go to the right 3 and up 0. Okay. Our second problem, or second half, we plug in 0 for x. So we have 4 times 0 minus 3y equals 12. So negative 3y is equal to 12. Divide both sides by negative 3. And y is equal to negative 4. So you have the coordinates 0, comma negative 4. So you're going to go up 4 from the, or down 4 from the origin. Sorry. So you've got 2 points there, and now you're going to use your straight edge and draw in your line. Again, make sure it goes all the way across your grid. And you got arrows on the end. All right, so I want you guys to try letters A and B, and then we will go over them. So for letter A, we are going to start off by plugging in 0 for y. So we have,
oops, that's an x.
Negative 3x plus 5 times 0 is equal to 30. So negative 3x is equal to 30. Divide both sides by negative 3. And x is equal to negative 10. So we have a point at negative 10, comma 0. X is negative 10.
Ooh, don't do that. X-intercept.
X-intercept, negative 10. All right. And our y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x. So we have negative 3 times 0 plus 5y is equal to 30. So 5y is just going to be equal to 30. Divide both sides by 5. And y is equal to 6. So our point is at 0, comma 6. So we're going to go up 6 from the origin. And there we go. We got our nice 2 points. And we can draw our line from there. Make sure your line goes across the entire grid. All right. Letter B. We're going to plug in 0 for y. So we have 4x plus 6 times 0 is equal to 24. 4x is equal to 24. Divide both sides by 4. And x is equal to 6. So we have a point at 6, comma 0. So we're going to go to the right 6. Put a point there. All right, now we're going to plug in 0 for x. So we have 4 times 0 plus 6y is equal to 24. So 4 times 0 cancels out. 6y is equal to 24. Divide both sides by 6. And y is equal to 4. So our coordinate is at 0, comma 4. So we have a point at positive 4 on the y-axis. And now we can connect our two dots. Arrows on the end, all the way across the grid. All right. Moving on to the next problem, problem number 3, which is graphing horizontal and vertical lines. So for letter A, y is equal to 2. So we're going to put a point at 2, because 0, 2. And what happens if we were to plug in 5 to this equation for x? Well, there's nowhere to plug in 5. So I guess for coordinate of 5, it's going to be at 2. All right, well, what if we plug in 10? Well, there's nowhere to plug in x, so it's just going to be 2. All right, so it is going to be a horizontal line. Y equals anything is a horizontal line at that point. Because if you think about it, that's an equation in slope-intercept form, right? Y is equal to 0 times x plus 2. Our slope is 0. It's a horizontal line. A vertical line, all right, so a vertical line, x equals 2. No matter what we have for y, x will always be 2. So we put a point at positive 2 on the x-axis. And it doesn't matter what we plug in. If we plugged in a positive 5 for y, there's nowhere to plug it in. X is equal to 2. If we plugged in a positive 10 for y, there's nowhere to plug it in. X is equal to 2. All right, so it's going to be a vertical line. All right, make sure your line goes across the grid, and it has arrows on the end. All right, so next up, we've got transforming to standard form. So we're going to write our equation in standard form. So a media download store sells songs for $1 each and movies for $15 each. You have $60 to spend. Write and graph an equation for the items that you can purchase. What are 3 possible solutions? All right. So we've got a couple pieces of information there that we can identify. One of them is that our songs are $1 each, so let's put that as our x value. X is songs. And y then is going to be movies. So we can set up our equation. There we go.
I like that better.
All right. So we can set up our equation. The price of a song is $1 times the number of songs, so 1x, plus we have $15 per movie times the number of movies, 15y, is equal to 60. So if we're going to spend all of our money, we need to have some combination that's going to equal that amount. Well, now we can use our 2 intercepts to graph this equation again. So if we plugged in our x-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for y. So we just have x plus 15 times 0 is equal to 60. So x is equal to 60. So if we were to only buy songs, we could buy 60 songs. Now, Mr. Wolf just put the point at 60, 0. But what does a good graph need? What did I not give you already? We need to make sure we label our graphs. So for our x-axis, we're going to put songs. And our y-axis is going to be movies. All right, so make sure you always, always, always label your graph. And I gave you the scale on this one. All right. So we know our x-axis. So if we only bought songs, we can buy 60 songs. Now we want to figure out our y-intercept. If we only bought movies, how many movies could we buy? So we're going to plug in 0 for x. So we have 1 times 0 plus 15y is equal to 60. So then 15y is only going to be equal to 60. Divide both sides by 15. And y is equal to 4. So we could download 4 movies for that same $60. All right, so our coordinate is at 0, 4. So we put a point at positive 4 on the y-axis, and now we can draw our line in. All right, now, as the third part of our question, or second part of our question, is what are 3 possible solutions? Well, you've done the work for 2 of them already. Your 2 intercepts are possible solutions. You could have 4 movies and no songs. You could have 60 songs and no movies. And now we just need to try to find one more point on this graph that is a good point for us to work with. So I see one right in the center there. And that would represent
What is that?
30 songs
30.
and 2 movies. So that would be our third point that is possible, that we can see at least on this graph nice and easily.
It looks like we've got 2 more right there that hit pretty perfectly as
Pretty
well.
close, yeah. So we've got, you could have 15 songs. So the top left point is going to be 15 songs and 3 movies. And your bottom right one is 45 songs and one movie.
Yeah.
All right, so you could list any combination of those 3 points, or if you really want to be lazy, just use your 2 intercepts as 2 of them. I guess it's not really being lazy, it's being smart. I mean, I asked you for 3 points. I didn't ask which ones they'd be. Oh, and you know what? There's a very good chance that you have a question just like this on your Unit 5 test. So just as a, you might want to pay attention to this. All right. So we have a you try problem now for you guys. A festival sells ride tickets for 50 cents each and game tickets for 20 cents each. You have $5 to spend on tickets. Write and graph an equation that is going to represent what you spend. And we want to know 3 solutions again. So let's start off our 2 rates. We're going to identify our variables. So x is going to be our
Rides? Do that.
Yeah. And y is going to be our game tickets.
And I'm actually going to label those on the graph right away since we've already established that.
Okay, so we've got rides on our x-axis, games on our y. All right, so now we need to plug in our information on our rates. So 50 cents for the game or ride tickets is going to be $0.5 times x plus $0.2 times the number of game tickets you buy is equal to $5. All right, now in the textbook, some textbooks are going to have you multiply by a factor of 10 in order to get rid of any decimals. Quite frankly, standard form can be involving any real number, so we're just going to deal with the decimals that we have.
Okay.
I don't think we necessarily need to convert anything. All right, so let's go ahead and find those intercepts. So 0.5, we'll start with the x-intercept. So 0.5x plus 0.2 times 0 equals 5. So that means 0.5x is equal to 5. And we divide both sides by 0.5. And we get x is equal to 10. So you could go on 10 rides for $5. So we have a point at 10-0. That's if you spent all your money on rides. All right, now what if you're a gamer and you want to spend all your money on games? So we have 0.5 times 0 plus 0.2 times y is equal to 5. So that means just 0.2y is going to be equal to 5. Divide both sides by 0.2. And y is going to be equal to 25. So we're going to have our y-intercept at 0.25. So you could spend all of your money on game tickets, and you have 25 tickets you could buy. So Mr. Wolf's going to draw our line in. And we want to look for a couple good points that we can work with. So it looks like it really crosses at those bold grids pretty well for each of them. So we could do those. So that would mean we have 2 rides and 20 games, 2 comma 20. We could do 4 and 15. We could do 6 and 10. And we could do 8 and 5. So really, any combination of those 4 points and our 2 intercepts, and you would be able to satisfy the question, which was 3 potential solutions. All right, so these are all potential points. And really, as long as we're dealing with whole numbers, any of the points on the graph really could work for this. These are just the cleanest ones. Okay? All right, so make sure you guys rate your level of understanding of this lesson. And I realize I didn't give you a whole heck of a lot of room to write your summary, but write a brief summary on this lesson and do write down any questions you may have. All right, have a great day.